You know, it has been so long that I bet some of y'all don't even know about this, but a while back, a YouTuber, channel named Doug Carlton, that's an assumed name, by the way. He's a very sly fellow, like a secret agent. Anyway, he asked me to take a look at a book called The Hologram of Liberty, written by Kenneth Royce, also known as Boston Tea Party, the pseudonym Boston Tea Party. Now, the book was written back in the 90s, during the Clinton era, and it was written at a time of, Janet Reno, Waco, Texas, things like that. Federal intrusion in that particular time was really coming to a head. We had a firearms act, or assault weapons ban, put into place, and it was really coming to a head, as it does from time to time. And this book was published shortly thereafter. Here we are. Wow, it's amazing. We're looking at, has it been 17 years since that book was originally published? And here we are, seemingly coming to a head again with federal centralized intrusion. Now, Mr. Royce in his book contends that he agrees with a man by the name of Spooner, that either the United States Constitution has allowed for the centralized government reaching its bloated state, or it was somehow powerless to prevent it. Those are the only two conclusions. And it's a very interesting approach to what we look at now. And Mr. Royce takes the Constitution and with an unblinking, irreverent view, looks at the legalese, for lack of a better term, lawyer speak surrounding the Constitution, that actually can allow legislatures to do the things that they have done over the course of time. I have some different conclusions than Mr. Royce here and there, but his actual theory and logic from this book is sound, and it shows the Constitution as a standalone document. It is quite flawed, and he brings some very interesting solutions, amendment-wise and things like that could rein it in. And it was very difficult for me to read the first part of the book, and to be honest, I didn't really start pouring on interest and really falling into favor until the last couple of chapters, when he's talking about solutions and the birth and the start of an individual's libertarianism. That's when it really caught my interest, because for the first part of it, he gives a guy like Thomas Jefferson a free pass, and then he comes down on Hamilton like there's no tomorrow. Like Hamilton is an agent for the banksters and stuff like that. And Alexander Hamilton was a colonel in the colonial army, serving as aide-de-camp under General Washington. Now that may seem like, oh yeah, that guy didn't do, there's a rumor that Hamilton was one of the first officers under George Washington's command to get a confirmed kill. So, like, you say somebody's an agent for the British, yet, he's out there murdering these guys with their bare hands. And trust me, back then they didn't do it by hitting a little button. Now, Hamilton's motivations in wanting a centralized banking system, I disagree with a lot of people's conclusions, in that a centralized banking system and fractional reserve is inherently evil. Because, and I'll just say this quick, and it doesn't have much to do with the book, but it's sort of in defense of Hamilton, which I don't know. I mean, history can judge him based on whatever's going on. But in defense of Hamilton and the banksters' practices, there are a lot of major projects that can happen through the division of financial application. What I mean by that is, the guy with the idea isn't always the guy with the money, okay? So to provide the means for the guy with the idea, to readily borrow the money, it can be, I can see the benefits of that. I'm not going to just say offhand, no, these things should not be allowed. And there's still enough of a, I don't know if you want to take it as a liberal streak or whatever, but there's still enough of a streak in me as I see currency as needing to be a reflection of what a community's ability is. You know, not necessarily the other way around. Now, naturally, we ended up in a case where it's gone too far in one direction, and the whole thing's, at the moment, a mess. And there are many who say that it may never turn around. But now, what Doug Carlton asked with this whole hologram for liberty is the question of, are we really free? And based on the conclusions of Mr. Royce in his book Hologram for Liberty, and based on the current legal system, the moment an individual is forced to do something that they do not wish to do, even though they have not harmed or forced another person's liberties, then you are no longer free. And with that being the case, the short answer to that is no, we are not. Furthermore, it is a very weak argument to say, well, we're one of the freest in the world. Yeah, so what? You know, see how long that lasts. So, Hologram for Liberty, it's sort of still in print. Javelin Press, look around for it. Is it Hologram for Liberty or Hologram of Liberty? Either way, it's a very good read. Very difficult for if any of y'all are like me and sort of a dyed-in-the-wool flag waver. It's a tough read at first, but when you get through it and really try to see what it's saying, you know, not to judge people or just toss out and dog the Constitution. I mean, you got to look at these things with an honest, open mind, or you risk making grave mistakes. So thank you to Doug Carlton for suggesting it. I don't really know. Part of the deal was if I read Hologram of Liberty, that he would read any book that I picked, and I'll tell you the book that I would like to have him read, and it's a long one, and it's a moose, but it is the Great War for Civilization, and it is by, oh man, I can't think of the guy's name now. He's that English reporter. Oh, I can't think of it now. The book is like a freaking phone book, but it's interesting. He's the guy that interviewed Bin Laden, and he has a very interesting worldview, and I think it's a very different pace than what you may be used to, Mr. Carlton. And his name will come to me, and I will try to put it in the description bar eventually. Fisk? That's the guy's name, Fisk. I can't remember his first name now, but Fisk, yeah. Great War of Civilization by Fisk. All right. Any hoozle, y'all be good, and we'll see you later.